Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Trenell, and I'm here with the homeboy Todd, as always, and welcome back to a weekly gaming news show. It is November 27th, 2017, and we got some stories for you guys. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving, number one. We did mention that at the end of the previous podcast for the people to have a happy Thanksgiving. So I want to extend my deepest apologies and I hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving over there.
Ate lots of turkey, ate lots of pie.
Lots of turkey, lots of pie.
Do some dancing.
Yeah. With the kids, as always. So before we get into our weekly icebreaker, we're going to go ahead and get some corrections and updates from our previous episode. So Boogie, why don't you go ahead and start us off with that?
Okay, so last week we did talk about, I'm just going to jump right into it. We talked about Beyond Good and Evil, the apparent sequel coming out. That came from one of the programmers, Michael Ansel. Who's one of the developers over at Ubisoft. He is the game designer at Ubisoft. He tweeted out a bunch of, not tweeted, they were actually in his Instagram. He had a bunch of images, and a bunch of them seemed to be Beyond Good and Evil characters. And he had a cryptic message saying, thank you for Ubisoft. Send a thank you to Ubisoft for making this possible. The initial rumor or belief is that that's for Beyond Good and Evil game. A sequel, it could be, or it also could be the version that's coming out for the Switch. Nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody knows because Beyond, like we said last time in the previous episode, Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been in the works, quote unquote, for years. It was supposed to be a 360 game. That entire cycle has come and gone. So, and then we had the recent reveal that there will be some kind of Switch exclusive Beyond Good and Evil title. So we don't know where or what this concept art is being used from.
Right.
Or being used for, I should say.
Yep, exactly. It's just concept art, and people jump to conclusions. So we'll see what it is.
Yeah.
It could be a sequel. It could just be the Switch version coming out, or the Switch game coming out.
Yeah. Quick question though: have you ever played Beyond Good and Evil?
No, but I do have it because it was Games for Gold.
It was a game for gold, and that was how I got it. Damn! Oh my God! We got some news about that too, man. Microsoft killing it over here, in my opinion. But yeah, Beyond Good and Evil, very great game, and I'm looking forward to playing whichever version come out. Hopefully we get two. Hopefully we get like a retelling kind of remaster of the first, and that'll lead into the second. Although that would be kind of weird for them to do. Make one Switch exclusive and then the sequel be multi-platform. I'm not sure how that will work. It's probably going to be one or the other.
Yeah, I would think it may be like you said, a remake or a polishing of the original game with some extra goodies into it,
like a reimagining.
Right, and if they do a sequel, they'll make it multiplayer. There's no way they would do unless the Nintendo Switch sells millions or Nintendo throws a buttload of cash at them. I couldn't imagine them just making the sequel an exclusive.
Yeah, or maybe it'll just be console exclusive. That's also a thing. It could come out on PC and Switch. So that's also a thing.
Yep, that would be fine with me because I'll be able to play it on PC.
Yeah, because you're not getting a Switch.
You know what? I'm kind of having second thoughts. I was actually talking to my brother about it. He was up for Thanksgiving, and
okay,
I may. Let's see what they talk about in January. That's what I'm gonna say about that.
Okay. What else you got for us?
Okay. One other thing, we were talking about the 4K TVs last week, and I inverted the Vizio line. The Vizio P series is the top of the line. It's the one that comes with the 6-inch tablet as a remote. The M series is the next one down.
Okay.
So when you're looking at it, both of those series do 4K and they both do HDR. It's just M is second tier, P is top tier.
Okay. Yeah, so if you guys are not sure what we're referencing there, in our previous episode, that was our holiday buyer's guide, and it still may be relevant. Cyber Monday is coming up, so you guys should check that out. and check those sources. And if there's any remaining deals, you'll have a lot of detailed information on what you should and shouldn't buy.
Right, and the CAG, the links I put to the CAG, those are constantly updated with new deals as they go live. So those two links, if you go to the show, go to our Facebook page, or go directly to our page. When you go to the show notes. There's links for cheap ass gamer deals spreadsheets. Those are constantly updated as new deals expire and come online. So you can go into this, a Google Doc. It's a Google Doc. So you can go into it and see what's being added for Cyber Monday and going forward until all the sales are finished.
Okay, and we'll put a link in this video's show notes as well, in case anybody missed it. But our last update involves the Nintendo Switch again, and the leaks that we reported on. One of the games that we reported was Xenoblade Chronicles X being ported over to the Nintendo Switch. The update that we have is that it's not being it's not being ported over by its developer, Monolith. It's being handled by a third party company. And another thing that I just wanted to reference, because we did acknowledge that the list was kind of bare bones, but the list is far from complete. And we're going to get into more about leaks and stuff in our long form discussion, but that's just something I wanted to put out there, that this list is far from complete. And if more news comes out, we'll definitely be reporting on it, because a lot of people are looking forward to the Switch, but for somebody like me, if there's not any games to play, I'm gonna hold out on it.
Gonna pass out. Yep. Yeah. I'm the same. Like I just said, I want to see what they say in January.
Yeah, same here.
Right now, I'm not even on the fence. Right now, it's a solid no.
It's a solid no. Yeah, I would say I'm teetering. The more good news that comes out of Nintendo, the more likely I'll be to get one. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump into our weekly icebreaker. And if you're new to the podcast, you don't know what that is, the weekly icebreaker is our question for the week that we ask of the panel, just to get a sense of where they are on certain gaming concepts. But this week, we're not going to be talking about gaming for our weekly icebreaker, because we want to know, what did you have and how much did you have on Thanksgiving? What was on the menu? And Boogie, you go ahead and start.
So we hosted this year, right? We had 19 people.
Woo!
In the house. I had my mom, two brothers and sister, and my niece. Then they're from Atlanta and North Carolina. I've got my sister-in-law, two nieces, and nephew-in-law. Mm-hmm. They're from London. And then I had my sister-in-law, two nieces that live here, and we had some few special guests. And house was packed. We had a nice sized turkey. We did some salmon. We had a brisket that I smoked the brisket because it's like 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Busted out the grill, smoked the brisket. Did some mac and cheese. We had all kinds of salads and broccoli, and I ate so much. I'll tell you, this is my proudest Thanksgiving eating.
Oh wow!
I ate 2.5 sweet potato pies.
Wow!
Between Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I ate 2.5 sweet potato pies.
Jeez, dude!
By myself only. That's horrible, but
that's terrible. That's terrible. You make me want to. So I need to do some crunches after the podcast. Just thinking about eating that much pie. As for me. Yeah, so as for me, I did the split Thanksgiving. So in the morning I went to my mom's house. My mom threw down. We had chicken, we had turkey, we had brisket. What else do we have? The sides. We had the mac and cheese. We had the sweet potatoes. We had greens. We had salad. My mom, she threw down. And my mom doesn't normally cook desserts. She's like, I'm not a baker. I'm not going to be cooking all the desserts up in here. But when she does, oh my God, and she makes this strawberry whipped cream, I don't know what the hell is in it, but it's basically, she takes the Jello, she makes Jello, right? Like strawberry Jello, and mixes it with something, and it's great. It's the best pie ever. And every time she cooks it, I'm just like, in heaven. And then after that, I came home because Vanessa threw down in the kitchen over here, and she hosted her family, so I did like the split thing. And man, I've been enjoying that for the past couple of days now.
Yeah. The only thing about having so many people over for Thanksgiving is the leftovers were quite light.
Yeah, light on the leftovers.
Yeah, the turkey didn't make it through the day. I mean, we had like a 20-pound turkey. That thing, by the by the end of Thanksgiving dinner, it was just bones.
Wow. No, we I didn't take any leftovers from my mom, so I was like, Mom, I'll take some desserts, but as far as like I'm not taking no plates because I'm gonna have plenty of food at the house, and you know we're still eating. I'm having Thanksgiving for dinner tonight, as a matter of fact, and probably for lunch tomorrow, and I think that'll be it. But yeah, I had a very good time. Did you score any Black Friday deals online or otherwise?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Todd doesn't do Black Friday.
Yeah, so I didn't even look at Amazon. I wasn't really expecting to go out shopping, so
yeah,
I
didn't set foot out of the house on Friday. I was too busy eating pie.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. No, my wife went out, and she went out with her sister because her sister's from London, so she wanted to catch on some good deals. And yeah, I stayed at home with the kids and my brothers.
That's what's up.
And we just chilled. We watched what did we watch? We watched something, football. We watched some Christmas Vacation, and we just shot the shit, enjoyed each other.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Let us know what you guys did on Thanksgiving. What did you guys have? Leave all of your delicious details down in the comment section or on our Facebook page. And also let us know what other icebreaker questions we should answer. We're always up to suggestions.
I'm sorry. My question is, can anybody touch my 2.5 sweet potato pies?
Yeah, has anybody ever eaten that much? I don't think I've ever eaten two. I don't think I've even seen 2.5 pies in one sitting. This is ridiculous.
It wasn't one sitting. It was over like a day and a half. But
that's still a lot. That's still a lot. I couldn't do it. Let me just let you know that right now. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our top 5 stories of the day, of the week, I should say. And first up, we have the Uncharted 4 survival mode being playable at the PlayStation Experience. And we're going to have a lot of information about the PlayStation Experience in this podcast. But this was something that was revealed via the official PlayStation Twitter. And it is not to be confused for the still upcoming story DLC for Uncharted 4. So, I mean, it's survival mode. It's what you expect. Right. Hordes of enemies. Time limit to either prepare or collect ammo or whatever. I actually it's not out yet, so
well, I don't know. I was reading into it. They did say they were throwing some wrinkles. Like they were saying, think of and those who play Destiny, we would call them the modifiers, right? Or like Halo. In Halo is the skulls.
Oh
right?
yeah, skulls. Yes. Yeah, modifiers. Yeah.
Modifiers, yeah. So I mean, it'd be something like you must get headshots, or you only can use melee weapons to get kills, or the enemies do extra damage, or something like that. They randomly throw those in between rounds. So it'd be interesting. I'm kind of excited for it because I don't have anything for my PlayStation, and Uncharted was actually one of the games I was going to get. So this is perfect timing for me, a new PlayStation owner. I got a game that's right now would be considered long in the tooth, but this mode should bring people back to it. And it'd be fun for me.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. I don't think that this is something that would bring me back to the game. I did dabble into the multiplayer a little bit, and I enjoyed it for what it was worth. I mean, I'm a huge fan of third person action shooters or whatever. I'm into Max Payne and all that jazz. But after a while, I kind of just fell off on it. And I don't see this as being something that will bring me back personally. I'm still waiting on that story DLC because I want to know what. I mean, the story is so compelling in Uncharted 4. A lot of people may not think so, but it was like when you're playing that game, you're going through like the different set pieces and you're going through the battles. I am basically trying to just get back to the story. I'm just like, okay, I got to shoot these guys. Now, what the hell is happening? You know, it was one of those moments, kind of like the original Ninja Gaiden on NES, where you go through the level so that you can see the cutscenes. You know what I'm saying? Because those were like, you know, some of the first cutscenes implemented into, you know, video games,
Right.
or at least that I can remember. And this, I had the exact same feeling with this because I wouldn't say that the action or the gameplay is bland or anything, but the story was just so compelling. And I had played 4 right off the heels of the Nathan Drake collection, so I was everything that happened previously was like fresh in my mind. So
got it.
It's a great buy even without the survival mode. I'm still waiting on the story DLC, and we've heard nothing about that. So still,
Well, yeah, it was definitely a game I was planning on buying regardless, because I'm a big Uncharted fan. I played most of the first 3 on PlayStation 3, so I was definitely 100% planning to get this anyway. But just at the timing of it, it kind of helps me out a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, it's a new mode. People are going to come back to it to play it, and I'm definitely I like horde modes, so it'd be fun for me to be able to get into it at the beginning and play with people and figure it out all together, instead of, you know, it gets kind of hard when you jump in games late after a particular mode or something's been out for a while. You know, people don't want to play with the noobs, so everybody be a noob at the same time in this one, and that's kind of cool for me.
That is cool. And you know what, if you're gonna get on survival mode, I might get on. Maybe we can stream it. That'll be fun.
Salt and Rage.
Yeah, we could do that. That'd be fun. All right, so let's go ahead and now move on to the next story. What we got?
We got Microsoft.
Oh yeah,
announcing their December games with gold, and they must be in a very happy, joyous holiday mood because they came pretty good this month.
Yeah, pretty good.
They've got, for the Xbox One, that's going to be available starting the 1st, which the 1st is, I'm going to say, Thursday.
Thursday.
Sleeping Dogs, the definitive edition. Sleeping Dogs, if you don't know, it's a open world game. Is based off of, I guess, originally from the True Crime series. And it's basically a true crime Hong Kong that's been pretty much reinvented. But I've heard good things about it. I've heard bad things. Most of the people I've heard said it's mediocre. I've talked to people that said it's pretty good. It's free. I want to try it out. I've always wanted to try it out. So, and definitely something I'm interested in, and I'm going to try. Another game that's coming out is called Outlast. Outlast is going to be available starting on December 16th. This is also an Xbox One title. Outlast is like a survival horror game.
Yeah, first-person survival horror game.
Yep. So, I mean, you're out in the mountains, and you're in the abandoned asylum or abandoned hospital.
Yeah.
And stuff are trying to kill you, and you cannot let them kill you. That's basically where you're at there.
Stay alive.
Yeah. Again, this is another game I've heard good things about. We've already established that I'm a bit of a punk when it comes to these games, but I'll try it out anyway, just because I heard good things about it. And then on the 360 titles, Outland. Now, Outland, I've heard about it, not much. Do you know much about Outland? All I know is the description, which doesn't really mean much to me, but I'm not too sure exactly what this is.
Out of this entire list, Outland is the only game that I've not played, and I've seen gameplay footage of it, and it's like a puzzle platformer where you take control of either like a fire element or ice element, and you got to use that to solve puzzles while also like fending off enemies and stuff. So I think the first time I saw it, it was like they had made it not one of the arcade games, but basically just a downloadable 360 game. And it always looked cool, but you know, I never thought it was worth purchasing.
Right.
So because I own Sleeping Dogs, I own that on the 360. I currently have Outlast and have not booted it up because I am also a punk, and I also have the next game on the list. But yeah, I think I may try Outland just because, you know, it's the only one that I have not played.
And it is a 2-player co-op, which is kind of interesting as well.
Is it? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't know that.
Yep, it is 2-player co-op, online multiplayer, 2-player co-op.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's cool. You can play with 2 people. And then the next game that's on the list, which I think is an amazing game. I love this game. I put a lot of hours into it. Burnout Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Burnout Paradise. If you don't know what Burnout Paradise is, come on out from under that rock, please.
Yeah, we're gonna need you to come from under that rock, please.
Yeah. Basically, Burnout Paradise is a racing game, arcade type racer. But the allure of Burnout Paradise are the crash sequences.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaking amazing. Real-time damage to the cars, and if you get into a major collision, you get the super slow-mo bullet time of your car crunching and crumpling. I mean, I remember just randomly jumping in a car, go as fast as I can, and then smashing into something head-on. That's amazing. It's definitely a fun game. You can do some serious like street racing type races. You get car upgrades, paint jobs, so on and so forth. But it is a fun game.
Well, and see, my thing is, I also owned this game, and one of the biggest appeal to it was that it was open world. It was probably one of the first open world type racers to come out, and definitely a first for the Burnout series. The Burnout series was traditionally just like pick a track, race that track, and this was the first open world Burnout game. But one of the biggest appeals to it was its functionality with the camera.
Yeah.
Because in the game, you would basically use the Xbox camera to take a picture for your license plate or whatever, and then and then another cool thing is if you were racing somebody and you crash them, the Xbox camera would take your picture, and like basically you get to get your reaction. Like the other player gets your reaction. So if somebody crashes you, you see who did it because, you know, if they had the camera on, it would take their picture.
Right, and send it to you.
And send it to you. Yeah, it would flash on the screen. Like, this guy just destroyed your car. Yeah. Go get him.
Almost like a taunt. Yeah.
Yeah, so like a taunt. Yeah. So my biggest concern with this one is, are those servers even still live? Or, you know, is it just going to be the single player mode? Because
I don't know. I have it as well. So I'm gonna boot it up, and that's a good question.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to boot it up and check it out. Maybe we can do that on a correction.
Yeah, yeah. We have to do some investigating because I think the main thing with Burnout Paradise was its online factor and how you could just, you know, do anything anywhere. So I always thought that was cool.
And this was published by EA, correct?
Yes.
That's right.
Published by EA. I can't remember the development company, but I personally prefer the more linear Burnout games. Yeah, Burnout Revenge.
Yeah,
that was my jam.
The one right before, yeah.
Yeah, that was my jam. I love that game. But yeah, I mean, if I didn't already own the majority of the games on the list, like this would be a heavy hitter.
Yeah,
heavy hitter month. I mean it still is, but I already own like 3 of them.
Yeah, I own Burnout. I don't own any of the other 3. I can think. I know I don't own Sleeping Dogs for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 2, like I said, Outlast. I'm scared, but I'll download anyway. And then Outland. Like I said, I've seen it in past, and I never really took an interest into that particular game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm gonna try out Outland. That's probably the only one I'll try out. And again, if you download the games on the 360, they're also compatible with the Xbox One. And I'm gonna keep on saying that until Sony gets their head out of their ass and does something with the PS Plus games, which for some reason haven't been announced yet.
No, it should come this week. It usually
come this week. Okay.
This Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
And just for reference, Burnout Paradise was developed by Criterion.
Criterion, there we go.
Yeah. And if you want to know anything about Criterion, the last game they developed was Battlefield Hardline. If you need to know anything, and we know how
it was their first one, man. When they were doing racing games, those guys were legit.
Yeah, they did Hot Pursuit. They did the next Burnout Crash. They did Most Wanted, and they did Rivals, and then they did Hardline, which it wasn't horrible. Let me say this. Hardline wasn't horrible. It was just Battlefield 4 with cops and robbers, and who the hell wants to play cops and robbers on
Yeah.
that type of game type, and those game modes don't really fit for cops and robbers. In fact, I don't know anything that fits for cops and robbers other than open world like Grand Theft Auto type games.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they were trying to go with that, but with that said, we can go ahead and move on to the next story. And okay, so I want you to take this with a grain of salt. Okay, this is a rumor; nothing has been confirmed, but the rumor is that at the PlayStation Experience, I told you we were going to be talking about this a lot. Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is set to be revealed. Now, this comes from a Redditor, I'm sorry, not a Redditor, but a post on NeoGAF from a member named Rice. And the thing about NeoGAF is that all stories that are published on NeoGAF have to go through the moderators. And in order for it to stay up, they have to have some sort of proof. Like it has to be, a liable source, pretty much.
Right.
So the fact that this has been up, for so long means that this guy Rice, which in his post said that he didn't want to share this, but enough beating around the bush. Got a few other gaffers and myself were told Marvel vs. Capcom 4 was to be announced at PSX, which stands for the PlayStation Experience. I don't think it would happen for all the obvious reasons, but here we go. We'll know for certain in 8 days. So basically, somebody told this guy, and whoever that somebody was, supposedly is a reliable source, and which is why this post was left up on NeoGAF. And then after, and I think that this is totally fake, an image, and for those that are watching, I'll have the image show on the screen here of a 4. It looks like it was ripped right out of a Fantastic Four logo or something like that. So I don't think there's any kind of I don't think that image is real at all. But we still do not have any more information. I mean, a lot of people have chimed in on it. Some people saying like, oh yeah, it's real. Some people saying like, oh no, it's not real. I'm not sure. That's why I'm just saying take this with a grain of salt. Because as of right now, and I'll have links to the official thread, for the Marvel vs. Capcom leak on NeoGAF. I'll have a link to that in our show notes and in the description, so you guys can check it out, chime in if you want to, and see what's up.
Yep. And I did see, I was searching on it. I know somebody reached out to Capcom for a statement, and they gave the "we don't comment on rumors" statement. I mean, there was a couple of other people that were contacted. I don't have the names directly in front of me, but one of them said, "Yeah, that'd be great, but right now we are focused on Street Fighter V, which is neither a confirmation nor is it a denial." So,
yeah.
So as it stands right now, maybe not, right?
Right. I mean, in all honesty, I don't know how it can possibly happen. Back when Marvel vs. Capcom, back when the first one, or even Marvel superheroes, back when those happened, back in the 90s and early 2000s, Marvel was in dire need of money, so they were just giving their licenses out to any and everybody,
right.
And that's no longer the case. Marvel is being, or I should say Disney is being very selective with who they give out those licenses to. And while Marvel vs. Capcom has proven to be a very popular series, I don't know if it would mesh well with what they're doing right now, because a lot of the characters, that you've become accustomed to in the fighting games aren't relevant in the comics or in the movies or anything like that.
Right, not right now, anyway.
Yes, a lot of those characters are not relevant.
But with that said, Marvel vs. Capcom has always been a pretty successful IP, so I wouldn't 100% rule out Marvel greenlighting another Marvel vs. Capcom just because of the history of the performance history.
Right.
Like most of the stuff that they've been scuttling and not renewing the stuff that been doing pretty bad. And Marvel versus Capcom historically has been a pretty good selling and pretty popular title. So, like you said, Disney has been extremely careful with who they've been licensing their IPs to, especially since they picked up Marvel. But on this on the other side of that coin is this particular series is typically popular, and you can see with the noise you're hearing now over this rumor that Marvel versus Capcom 4 would seem to be highly welcomed.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, even though it hasn't seen any kind of like update or patch in years now, is still highly played at within the competitive scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because when you think of Marvel, a lot of people just think of broken fighting games because those are not they're not balanced at all, and in pretty much all cases, the meta breaks down to not even a handful of characters, like maybe
Right.
maybe 6 characters, and that'll be the roster that you have to use. And in competitive scenes, like the hypest moments is when somebody pulls out a character that you don't see play competitively. So personally, would I pick it up? Probably. I've played Marvel vs. Capcom since back on the Dreamcast days, so I can't say that I wouldn't pick it up. But Capcom went through a lot of issues with Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I'm not sure if the casual gaming audience has forgiven Capcom for
That's
what
true.
they did.
Yeah, especially the last one was
Yeah, the last one was we wanted an update, and instead of an update, they gave us an entirely new game.
right.
So
That was
I
just
know that burned me because I actually, for one, I bought my Marvel vs. Capcom 3 directly from the Capcom store, right? It
Mhm.
was the special edition, and it came in the mail like a week and a half late, right? And then
Uh-huh.
6 months later, I got to purchase a new game. So I was already burned from
Right.
that. And then on top of, just not being good or good enough to play online, it just kind of just slowly, I just slowly moved away from it.
Right.
So I
Right.
don't know. I would love to see another Marvel versus Capcom or another crossover fighting game. Let's get some Capcom versus SNK. That's what I want to see.
Nah.
That's what I want to see. I want to see another one of those. That shit would be dope. I'm always down for that. But we'll see what happens at at the PlayStation experience. There was something else we wanted to add to it. Do we have anything else?
No, I mean, if you're not familiar with the PlayStation experience, but it's basically a PlayStation conference. They show a whole bunch. I mean, we talked earlier. Uncharted 4 Survival Mode will be there playable for you to check it out. But they just show off a lot of games, upcoming updates and so on and so forth. And they have a full list. I'll have the link in the show notes for you to go check it out, to see what they got coming out. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's 8 days. We'll talk about it
Yeah,
next week.
yeah. So we'll
Um,
that'll definitely be the topic of discussion next week.
yeah, or less than 8 days now. It's what, the third, right? It's
Is
this
it?
coming weekend, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So we'll definitely have something to talk about by the next podcast.
yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next story. What do we have?
The next story we have is Ubisoft. Ubisoft is celebrating its 30-year anniversary. And with this 30-year anniversary, they have launched 30 Days of Ubisoft. Now, it started on the 24th, which was Thanksgiving Day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going every day. They're giving, they have one item to give away. The first day, they gave away Rayman Legends on mobile.
Not Legends, Rayman Classic.
Right, I'm sorry, Rayman Classic on mobile. I'm sorry. The second day was a 30% off, right?
Yep.
And the third day is a digital poster, and the fourth day is a gift. Today is just the fourth day. Tomorrow they have something new. But all you need to do is sign into your Ubisoft account
Or create
Go-
one.
or create one. Or link your PlayStation Network or Xbox Live account to it.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the Ubisoft website, just 30days.ubi.com, and click on the present. There's a list, boxes numbered 1 through 30. You click on the box, it'll pop open and give you a link for you to get ahead and get whatever the giveaway is for that particular day.
Yeah.
You can go back and get the ones that were previously released. Outside of day 2, which seemed to be a one day only 30% off Ubisoft games sale.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that you get there when it's going down, because it could be another one of those like one day only things. So this is awesome. I mean, I'm a fan of Ubisoft games. You know, I grew up playing Rayman and all that. Prince of Persia was my jam back on the 360. So this is nothing but good news for me. And it just shows that Ubisoft is definitely trying to get back on good graces with the gaming community. I mean, they're coming up with new IPs, new ideas, and they're giving stuff away. I mean, what more could you ask for from a developer?
Right, exactly. Yeah. I don't have anything else to add other than that.
Yeah.
Outside of that.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and move on to the last story. What we got?
The last story we have is No Man's Sky. Remember No Man's Sky?
No, psych now.
So No Man's Sky was supposed to be the end all to be all, big open world. Let's go search the universe, planet, and people started playing it. I mean, it got so bad that people were asking for refunds. They were talking about lawsuits, so on and so forth. Well, after about 2 months of silence, the developers went into a hidey hole. They've come out and said they are going to be releasing a massive update. They're calling it the Foundation Update. Included in this update are some promised features that weren't given to you when the game was first released. And they're going to allow for the building, at least at least the start of building the foundation of a home base.
Oh, wow.
I'm not too sure how that's going to necessarily work, considering you just loot the planets for resources and move on. But that's supposed to be coming. You'll be able to build bases with resources found on the planet. I don't know if it's something where you build a base and leave it for somebody else to find and explore or what have you, but that's definitely coming out. The Hello Games did officially announce this. They actually did announce a date. It's actually coming out today, Sunday.
Oh, wow. So it launched today.
On PlayStation 4, the 1.1 patch is coming to PC. Has not been announced yet, but it's coming out soon. So yeah, if you still have No Man's Sky, you probably aren't still playing it, but if you still have it, go back and take a look at it now. You may find a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. Is this everything that you hoped and dreamed of, or no? Probably not.
Is it still short?
Is it still fall short of a full game?
Right, what you were expecting.
Yeah. I would like to know. I was always intrigued by No Man's Sky, but at the same time, I was always like, "There's no way that they can do all of that." That's something that I have said since the beginning, since I heard about it and saw that trailer. I was like, from what I'm hearing, it's supposed to happen. There's no way that can. There's no way. It's way too ambitious of a title.
Yep. And that seemed to bear itself out, right?
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think of the new update. Speaking of updates, have you heard about the
Division update?
The Division update. Had you heard about that?
I did. The survival mode that's live now, and I was actually going to ask if you were going to. Well, I take that back, because you don't have the. I don't have the season pass. I do have the first expansion, the Underworld, and I haven't even gotten far enough in the game to get to that point. So oh wow.
If I ever get back on there, some catching up I need to do there.
I might check it out, because even before that, I mean, a couple of months ago, we may have reported. I don't know if we reported it or not, but they had another update that they released that changed the balance, the way weapons work, and all of that other stuff. So
yeah, they postponed this update to basically work on the foundation of the game.
Right.
And since that launched, now they're launching the survival mode.
Yep. So yeah, I'm gonna check it out at some point. I mean, this holiday, this past week has been a whirlwind. I haven't had time. I probably won't have time next week because I'm going to be traveling again. I'll be back in time on Sunday. We're
Boogie
leaving.
all over the world, man.
Yeah, we're leaving Monday, and I mean no, we're leaving Wednesday, and I'll be back Sunday morning.
Okay.
So Sunday we're on schedule for that. But yeah, I'm traveling again, so I'm not gonna have time to game at least until next week, sometime the end of next Sunday.
The struggle, man. The struggle is real. Being
Yeah.
being a grown adult and trying to play video games is tough. It's tough out here.
Yeah, man, life. We need to do something about this damn life thing.
Yeah, we need to do something, man. Jesus. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our long form discussion. And this week I wanted to talk about something that we've been reporting on a lot lately, and that is game leaks. And I want to talk about leaks and their impact on finished games and the industry as a whole. And like, first I want to get your perspective, and then I'll give mine.
I think leaks, and me personally, I try not to follow them too tightly. I take them for what they're worth. A leak that shows me that a new game could be coming out is great, but a leak that's telling me all kinds of features and even getting into the spoiler territory, I try to avoid those.
Yeah.
Because what I found out with leaks is it builds the hype way too high, and there's nowhere to be left but disappointed when the game comes out.
Right, and that's what a lot of people were thinking with when they leaked the specs, or not the specs, or the concept of the NX, or the Nintendo Switch. It was like, oh, it's gonna do this, oh, it's gonna do that, oh, that sounds terrible, oh, I don't want this. Right. And or a lot of people were like, oh, well, it sounds good, but it's all about the execution. How's it gonna come down as a whole? And for me, man, leaks have always been a thing, but I just think that they're so prevalent now. Like they're so, they're everywhere. Like you can't hide anything anymore from people.
Exactly.
It's like when you come out with a demo for a game, you have to beware of the people that's going into the source code and like looking for little tidbits.
Right.
The entirety of the Pokemon roster was leaked after the demo, which is probably why we didn't get any more trailers for me to report on since the demo release. It's because
right.
Yeah, because people go in and they find these things, and I don't know, man. Like, does it help or does it hinder gaming companies and the official release of something? Like, what do you think about that?
I think it really hinders because one, it tends to screw up their marketing plan, right? So
right.
Perfect example is the Pokemon. Nintendo may have had a whole giant plan to release and showcase Pokemon all the way up until the release of the game, and then once all of the Pokemon were released, they had to scrap it, right? Because everybody knows all the Pokemon. What's the point? So it does that, and then again, it's the building expectations. The problems with leaks is they may or may not be accurate, right?
Right.
And with that, people know that they may or may not be accurate. So then they use their imagination to add all these great features that they want. And when the game finally releases and doesn't have any of these features that were most likely lame brain ideas that really wouldn't work in the game, they're upset. And the company, the developer, the company, and the IP as a whole all take a hit based on imaginary features.
Right. And then what about the false leaks? Because that has been the thing lately, where people will basically create something that could look real, or like for example, when Smash Brothers was still going through the whole Smash ballot, and voting was being done for characters that they wanted, third party characters they wanted.
Right.
There was somebody that officially leaked, quote unquote. I did air quotes when I did that. The unveiling of Rayman as a character, and it looked legit, and it was basically just this artist, this 3D modeler, 3D artist who went in and implemented features and stuff that made it seem like Rayman was a character in the game, and it was like. It's like, why? Why would you create that false hype, that false hope? He was actually my vote To be
Rayman?
Yeah,
Really?
Rayman. I wanted Rayman. That's my homie. We've been talking about Ubisoft all day. Yeah, man. That was my vote for the Smash ballot, and it's like when you create that false hype and that false hope, and then where does that leave the developers? And what I'm saying, because it creates this uproar, this uprising, and either support or hatred for something that doesn't even really exist, and it just leaves both parties in this sunken feeling where it's like, well, damn, why did you do that?
Right. Right. At least it's disappointment, right?
Yeah.
It's always the disappointment, and that's extremely problematic. Again, it just I don't like leaks and anything, because it always spoils the game. I mean,
Yeah.
I always go back to this. My favorite game that I play is Destiny, and people and anytime they release an update, people go and data mine and they find, oh, there's this particular item that looks so cool, has not been released in the game. Why didn't they release it? Bungie,
Right.
you're so horrible, blah, 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 blah. And there's always a legitimate reason why they didn't release in the game. It could be anything from not feasible to game balance.
Yeah, or it was a test item or something. Like,
Right.
you never know.
Right, and it's just that people build up these false expectations, and when those expectations don't come to fruition, they hold the developer or the company responsible for something that was probably never going to come out anyway.
Right, and then we talked about this in previous episodes, that whole sense of entitlement. People feel entitled. They pay that $60. They want everything on that disc.
Yeah, that's yeah. You just don't get it, and it's mostly people that don't understand how business works, and especially don't understand how development works. Because anytime somebody's developing a game, they do seriously have tons of tests, tons of items that they look to put in the game, and they have to pull it out for whatever reason. It may not, and sometimes you'll see something that may put somebody data mine an item, a character, and it's, oh, he's not in the game, and it shows up in DLC, and they get mad that it was being held back. But it may be held back because it was a balancing issue, and they needed more time to balance whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I mean, game leaks, in my opinion, as a whole, is detrimental to any industry. It leaks in general.
Yeah, leaks in general. It's like software leaks, hardware leaks, for phones, leaking the specs of the new iPhone,
Right.
That's detrimental.
Right, and I will caution people, when you do see a leak, you don't take it at face value.
Right.
You can't, because I mean, like you said, there are people out there that are generally trolls, and they just make up stuff just to rile people up.
Right, and this is another story for another day, but we have this whole hyper awareness of things that are going on, and this circulation of news and false news, to where you don't even know what's true and what's false. There's no way to really tell. Nobody is citing any sources. I can go on Facebook right now and probably find 2 or 3 stories that are 100% false.
Right. Well, we found out how true Facebook was during this election, right?
Right. Yeah. 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 And it's just crazy how much information is just thrown out there that isn't true, and information that isn't supposed to be seen by anybody other than who it was sent to. When that stuff comes out, all of that is just bad. And when it comes to gaming, I really think that while it does get the hype going, in some cases, but I feel like it should be done naturally through traditional means. The company, let them do what they have to do.
Right.
It's exactly. Like I haven't been excited for the release of something in forever, because it always gets leaked. How many leaks came out right before E3? You know what I'm saying? We pretty much knew the entire E3 lineup.
Or even what happened to Sony with the PlayStation or the PlayStation Slim.
Yeah.
I mean, they had full working systems before. like weeks before, not even like right before, weeks before the Sony was ready to announce it.
Right.
And that could be part of the reason why Sony's event was it was disastrous.
Yeah, it was disastrous, and you know, it could be a reason why they're taking such a hard hit, you know, in the console war, you know, these last few months. I know we reported in a previous episode that the Xbox One had been outselling the PS4. We don't have the numbers here, but I'm curious as to, you know, how that's continuing to go.
I think there's many reasons to that, but that can also be it could be a contributor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's not a contributor. It could be, but I mean, yeah, I mean, leaks are extremely detrimental, and like I said, the biggest problems with leaks are the building of people's expectations for something that may not actually be true or doesn't really exist.
Right. So like we just talked about this Marvel vs. Capcom 4. There's tons of people, you know. Tons of people that don't even play video games that would like to see a Marvel vs. Capcom 4, and
Right.
you know we don't really have any proof that it is or isn't a thing,
Right.
and you know we won't know until they either confirm it or deny it at the PlayStation Experience,
Right.
and you know I don't know, it's just that false hype, man, is no good. That's why I don't get excited for anything.
Right.
I kind of just like I hear something, I'm like, okay, well if it happens, it happens. If not, then I'm good. I think the last thing I was excited for that I was like genuinely shocked and surprised by was the announcement of Sonic Mania. I don't know how they hit that shit, man. They hit that shit like the dick is, or maybe I just wasn't looking around for it, but I hadn't heard or seen anything about it, and then it came out and I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's very hard, especially if it's something that people want.
Yeah.
Like when it's something that's popular, like Marvel vs. Capcom, Mass Effect, Nintendo's, Sony's. That stuff is all people are always digging and digging and digging and digging for it, and eventually something would be found. I don't know how much more a company can do to shore up their particular supply lines or secure their information, but it's definitely I'm sure companies can't stand it because it throws a wrench in all of their plans.
Right.
And I mean they're going to continue happening.
Unfortunately.
Maybe more so. I mean, in the internet age, it's easy to disseminate information and to disseminate it anonymously. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, but you know, you got people that aren't even doing it anonymously anymore. You know, we got somebody, you know, the person that I got those Switch details and leaks from, that person is just putting it out there. You know, they just have sources inside Nintendo just feeding them information, and they just put it out there, you know, for the world to hear. It's crazy. It's crazy that's allowed, and you know, I don't know. But an update from that is that that person has been blacklisted from Nintendo. It won't be getting the Nintendo Switch early or any of the games. That's actually pretty funny. I'm reading this right now.
See, but this is what I'll say. Just like I said, I'm against leaks. I don't like leaks. That's also the wrong tack, because where is she getting information? First off, for them to do that information obviously there's some accuracy to it, right?
Oh yeah,
her releasing it and then Nintendo saying, "Look, we're not doing anything for you." That means that information is pretty accurate. So now they just confirmed those leaks. But the problem isn't with the person reporting the information. The problem is with the person that's giving it to her.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're just shooting the messenger.
Pretty much.
And that's the problem, because all that person can do is they're just gonna find somebody else.
Yeah, they'll find another inside source and, you know, get that person to leak information.
By the way, you can find me at up.jump@hotmail.com. but yeah, I just you can't shoot the messenger. You got to control your house. You got to fix your house.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's just the you know, people want the clicks, man. That's what it's all about, you know, that money, that ad revenue, them clicks.
The clickbait, yeah.
The clickbait links on Facebook, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You won't believe what Nintendo's releasing. What is this? Click. That's how they get you, man. You won't
Exactly.
believe this.
Yep. Yep. The
So
10 rumors about Nintendo you won't believe. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, so overall I think we are in agreement that leaks are bad, and I kind of just want to go back to the age where you had to look at the game cover and to figure out what kind of game it was, and like read it on the back, like read the description and shit. Like like those were different times back then.
I'll rather fast forward a little bit to past that, but to the point where remember EGM
Oh
and
well, yeah, the magazines, Game
the
Informer,
magazine, yeah, Game Informer. When
Game
that
Pro. Remember those guys?
Yeah, Game Pro. That's where you got the information from. The developer said, "Hey, look, we got this hot new game. Why don't you do a write up on it?" And they give us a write up, and we know the information in there is accurate. It gives us just enough to know what to look for.
Unless it's for April Fool's Day.
Yeah, unless it's April Fool's Day.
Yeah, because they be trolling on that day.
it gave you just enough to know whether or not it's something you wanted, but not enough and to get you excited, but not enough to spoil it for you.
Yeah. Those were the days, man.
Yeah, those were generally the days where you bought a game and you were like, I know this is what this game is going to do. These are my expectations, and they typically would meet your expectations.
Yeah.
If they didn't meet your expectations, it wasn't because some super feature that was leaked months ahead of time didn't make it into the game. It was because the game had some technical issues. It was glitched.
Poor execution.
Right. But I would love to go back to those days. But unfortunately, Pandora's box has been opened, and are where we are.
We are where we are. And I don't know. The more companies can actually like hold out on information and actually surprise gamers with something awesome, the better it'll be. It'll be at least for me. I love being surprised.
Yep.
I love it when a game developer can shock me with an announcement. Like going back to Smash Brothers, the release of Bayonetta. Nobody saw that coming.
Right.
And it was awesome the way that they produced that information. It was like, bam, right in your face.
And it puts extraordinary pressure on these developers. And it also is definitely one of the reasons why publishers are so gun-shy with new IPs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, because a bad leak on a game can ruin it before it's even released.
Yeah. Like you can have a game concept, and it'll get leaked and have a bad reception, so then the publisher will back out, like, oh, okay, we don't want to do that no more.
Exactly. Or worse, they'll go through with it, and because all the news that anybody's heard about it was based on a leak that may or may not have been accurate, and that's trashing the particular IP, people won't try it.
Yeah.
And it performs poorly. Yeah. So I mean, what's funny is there's a game that's having that problem right now. One game that we all love. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
It's actually been it got crushed coming out because nobody wants Call of Duty in space. But the funny thing is, even though I crushed the multiplayer, the single player story mode isn't actually half bad. It's actually pretty decent. It's probably one of the bad. Like I said, I tapped out after Modern Warfare 3, but
yeah,
from say Call of Duty 2. All the way back from Call of Duty 2 up to Modern Warfare 3, this is one of the better stories and one of the more fun Call of Duties that was out there. But because it got initial bad reception, people just dismissed it. And there's also quite a bit of it that has to do with fatigue, right? Call of Duty fatigue.
Yeah.
But people dismissed it because this is not the Call of Duty anybody wanted. And it happened to be because of bad pre-release press, from leaks to just general reception of the concept.
Yeah, and a lot of people were just hating on it just because it was being hated on. So
right,
you got that. People follow the leader.
Yeah, and kind of think for yourself. And I'm going to give a message to all of our followers, all of our listeners. I mean, if you like leaks, fine, follow them.
Oh yeah,
verify your story. Verify your story. It's very simple. And anything you do on the internet, you see a story, somebody posts something on Facebook, verify the story, especially if it's something from some crazy blogspot type link. All you have to do is copy the headline, paste it in
Search
Google
it
and
up.
search, and
Check your
see.
sources.
Yep, check the source. See if it's more than one source, and if it's more than one source, make sure it's a couple of those sources are reputable.
Yeah.
Some a source that you actually trust. Not a source that I trust. I'm not going to tell you what, but sources that you've read before, you follow, and you know have given proper information, accurate information, because that's one of the worst things is to intake and disseminate false news, because it gives you a false sense of truth. And it will ruin a lot of things from you, anywhere from who you pick as your president
Yeah.
to the next game that you buy.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean that's what I would say to this whole leaking mess in general. I mean, if you want to follow leaks and you're into leaks, you want to know about leaks, just make sure the sources are reliable sources. Don't just go by any old body. That the worst thing in the world for me that I see, and I see people post it, and I can be a bit of a jerk. If I see you post something really stupid, I'll post a debunking link.
Yeah, a link to proving that it's false.
But the worst thing I see is people run with a story off a single tweet from some random egg tweet. The egg tweeters.
Oh yeah, the egg tweeters. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Somebody that just made an account and tweets something stupid, and everybody runs with it like it's a real story. I'm like, really?
100,000 retweets and all that madness. Yeah, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a long form discussion, guys. Let us know what you think. Again, no offense to anybody that enjoys leaks. We as older gamers are, or have been gaming for a long time, have been in a time where that wasn't a thing. So it's just something that I prefer. If you've been gaming within the last I would say
in the internet age, in
the internet age, leaks have been a constant thing, and they're going to continue to be a constant thing. But there was a time where that wasn't a thing, and that's just something that we prefer. So nothing against you guys. Just let us know what you think. Provide your argument. We would love to have a discussion down in the comment section or on our Facebook page. Let us know what you guys think. We're always open to discussions.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say definitely, and like I said, just check your sources.
Yeah, check your sources, because Boogie will be debunking you. So with that said, we'll go ahead and jump into our final thoughts, and this is where we go back and leave our 2 cents on any of the stories that we spoke on today. And I'll go ahead and take this one first. I mean, I pretty much said everything that I need to about these stories, but I will say that Uncharted 4 is definitely a great game. You should go. Anybody that has a PS4 and has not played Uncharted 4, you're doing yourself a disservice. And the survival mode, now that I've actually been reading more on it as we've been talking here, and the more I look at it, the more it makes me want to actually just go back just to try that. I don't feel like I'll get back into the multiplayer or anything, but that seems tight. The games for gold, a bunch of at least 3 bangers that I know of. Right. I'm gonna go and try that Outland game as soon as that is available. And big ups to Ubisoft for 30 days of free stuff. It doesn't seem like every day is gonna be a game or anything like that, but I mean you get free stuff. So that's always cool. That's always
free
cool.
stuff. Free stuff is always better than no stuff.
It's better than no stuff, and pretty much any and everybody can get Rayman Classic on their phone right now, and that was the original game on the PlayStation.
Right, Android and iOS.
Yeah.
So I mean,
sorry, Windows phones.
Yep, the one person that still has a Windows phone.
Sorry. What about you, Boogie? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like games for gold. Microsoft has been killing it. They had a couple of light weeks, but essentially this year has been pretty good for games with gold, especially with all the backwards compatible titles.
Oh yeah.
Sony, please take notes. PS Now sucks.
Like why, man? I don't know what they were thinking when they thought like, oh, you know what we should do? Charge people to play old ass games. It's like, really, bro? Come on.
I'm definitely Uncharted 4. Like I said, I'm a newly reacquired PlayStation 4. So I'm definitely Uncharted was a game I was on my list to buy out. You know, I've been scouting around for deals, so I'll be picking that up and definitely jumping into the survival mode. I like those type of game modes.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about rumors and leaks and stuff, and I mean, I see a comment. First party leaks are cool. I mean, especially if they know what they're talking about. Yeah, I kind of that's okay. I still don't like them,
Right.
Because I like to be surprised. I mean, I don't like a bunch of stuff, and I know that some of these leaks are company leaks because they want to build up some kind of viral.
Like viral marketing or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a viral marketing type deal, and I understand that, and that's cool. I don't necessarily really regard those as leaks more than I regard those as a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
You know, they'll leak a little information to make you want more. That's fine because that makes me want to know what this game is and gets me excited.
Yeah,
about
that's just an announcement.
Right. The leaks that just ruin everything. Oh, this is how it's going to work. When you get to here, this is how it's going to work. And no, leave me alone. Yeah, but that's about it. No Man's Sky. The 10 people that are still running around playing that. Let us know what you think of the current update. It went live today for PlayStation 4, PC coming soon. Same thing with the Division. We didn't have a specific story on that, but the Division survival mode just released. I'll try it one day when I get a chance to play games again. I won't be playing any games anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah.
But let us know. And then 2.5 pies, that's not too many.
If anybody has beaten that record, let us know. Let us know.
And just another side note, 2.5 pies isn't my personal best. My personal best was 4, and I did that in one day. But this is when I was
4 pies?
Yeah, this was when I was in high school. Yeah, I ate like 4 sweet potato pies.
Dang, man, these were home cooked sweet potato pies, right?
Yeah, my mom's sweet potato pies.
Okay.
There's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
All right, well, I might have to get some of that. Maybe I'll eat a pie and a half. But with all that said, guys, we want to thank you all for tuning in. You can hit us up on Facebook, Weekly Gaming News Show. We're also on Twitter at AWGamingNS. We also have a YouTube page. We're trying to reach 100 subscribers so we can get that custom link and I can display it down here. We are currently not even close. So if you're watching this, go ahead, or listening, go ahead and search a Weekly Gaming News Show on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We do often post other things other than the podcast on that channel.
It's the holiday season. We know you're hanging out with your friends and your family. Tell them all.
Tell them all. Tell your friends. Share with a friend. If one of you guys shared it with one person, that's all we asking for. Just share. Yep. Share with one person. So yeah, if you're watching us, thank you so much. But if you're listening to us, we also want to thank you. And Boogie, can you please let them know where they can listen to us?
You can find us at all the standard locations. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Play. We're on TuneIn Radio. We are on the general podcasting directory, so you'll be able to search and find us inside your favorite podcasting app. That's whether you use the iTunes podcasting app, which is crap, or Overcast, or even Cast on the Xbox One, so you can listen to us in the background while you're testing out the new Division DLC.
Yep.
Or playing Sleeping Dogs on Thursday. You can listen to our show in the background using the Cast app on Xbox One. So definitely download us, go to iTunes, rate us, let us know how we're doing. We take a look at them, see what you say, and we take it to heart because we do love doing the show, but we also do the show for you.
Yeah, so any feedback would be greatly appreciated. We just want to make the show better for you guys. So let us know what you think. Rate us, subscribe, follow us, and
talk to us.
Just hit us up, man. We want to engage with you guys. Engage with us. So we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Again, my name is Trenell.
I'm Todd,
and we will see you guys next week. Peace.